Beginner tutorial Rekordbox part 2. Getting started.
Consider subscribing if you already haven't and hit the bell button so you don't miss anything.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing marvelously well. In this video I am talking about Rekordbox for beginners. In this Rekordbox tutorial I'll explain the basics of Pioneer DJ Rekordbox. This is part 2 of my Rekordbox tutorial. If you didn't watch part 1 and you are an absolute beginner in Rekordbox, go back to the first video that I made about this topic. Rekordbox tries to do an educated guess of what is the counting of the song, what is the BPM of a song, what is the first count of a bar, the first beat of a bar. But that is in 80% of the times correct, but in 20% not. So we need to adjust that. We can do that in the beat grid. Over here in Rekordbox you have the cue and the loop function. We already discussed that in the previous video, but there is a grid also. And in that grid, that grid means beat grid. And in that function we can see how Rekordbox analyzed the file. In this case I adjusted the file, but it's not correct. Let's try a analyze of the track. Over here we can see there is a menu button, and when you press that it will show a menu and it says analyze track normal and analyze track dynamic. There are two ways of analyzing, as you probably might have guessed. The normal way, and the normal way means a constant BPM of a song, and that is for electronic music probably not a problem because the BPM stays constant the entire song. Not always, but if that is not the case you can use analyze track dynamic. And for a lot of analog songs, for example the songs that are played by an orchestra or a band for example, you need to use the function analyze track dynamic. The standard way is analyze normal, and I'll show you that for now because I know that the beat grid of the BPM of this track is constant. Normal, and what do I want to analyze? BPM grid in a certain BPM range, so it isn't entirely off. Key, that is the key of a song. I don't want to do that because I use the Camelot keys, and Rekordbox recognizes the key of a song and says A minor, B major for example. But I've done that with mixed in key and I don't want to override that, so I'll don't check this one or the phrase detection. Both I'll leave off. I'll say OK. And now it will analyze the track indeed. And you will see that the track is analyzed, but it's way off. And the first hint when you see a song and Rekordbox says on the beginning of the song, it says the first count of a bar, the first beat of a bar is over here, and that is with electronic music mostly not the case. I think it's over here, but we'll see that later. Easier to see that is over here because it is really obvious. This is, by looking at the waveform you can see it's blue. So that means not a lot of bass, but the bass starts here, and that bass is, you see, red, red, red. That is the kick. So what I'll do is I will set it over here. Let's first explain the cue function. When I'm over here, I want to jump to the first beat of the first near beat, and I can do that with the cue function with this cue, that is the quantize function. When I have this off, then it won't jump to the next beat, it will mark this point, and that is in this case this yellow mark over here. When I say Q now, it will jump with this on, it will jump to that beat, and if the next beat is nearer to this one, it will jump to that beat. But when I do it with the Q, when I cue it with that cue, so the quantize function off, you will see that it will make a mark and that yellow triangle will jump on that first beat, because I think it's the first beat of a bar. Let's check it, to be sure, let's check it. I'll rewind the song a bit. Okay, that's totally the first beat of the bar, indeed. You can hear by hearing the beeping sound was the metronome. I can switch this on and off. And when I press it on and it says blue, then you will hear that metronome. That is the beeping of those detected bars. The detected beats of a bar. You can set the volume if you think it's too loud, and I want it louder. Okay, that was metronome. But now I'll jump to the first beat of a bar, and I'll say Q, and now I want to point to that as the first beat of a bar. I can go to the first beat of a bar button over here, and I'll press it, and you'll see that all the beats will jump to another place. Again, the red thing is the first beat of a bar. Now let's check it with the metronome on. I think it's pretty close, but we'll pretty close. It is not close enough for me, even it was just for sake of the video. Let's zoom in. Now we can make it a more precise cut. I think it's probably here because the top kick is here, but okay. But that is not the way I want to do it. This time I want to shift the whole beat grid to the left, and that means when I zoom out that all these thingies that are over here that are marking a beat will jump to the left. I can show you that, and I have to press it a lot of times because it is a really small shift, but if I press it a lot of times you will see that all that marks will jump to the left. But of course I can make it more to the right. Now let's hear if that is the correct counting. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But sometimes when a track is dynamic in tempo, for example, and you can't solve that correctly by using the analyze function, you have to adjust that manually. But sometimes you don't want to apply those changes for the whole track. You want only the last part of your song be influenced by your changes. You can do that with this function over here. Apply the changes to the current position and everything that comes after that position. I'll press this button, and then you'll see that the markings will disappear over here, and that if I change anything, that it will only apply to what comes after this. You'll think, well, I can set if the tempo changes throughout the song, then the first beat of a bar changes sometimes too, or it is a really badly produced track, and then I have sometimes a count short or a beat short or a beat over. if you want to adjust that for the first count of a beat, set that correctly further in the song, that doesn't work. Rekordbox doesn't work that way. So really annoying, but regretfully it is that way. So when I say, if I make a change now and I say make adjustment to current position and after, then I say first beat of a bar, it will change for the whole song. But when I do changes, for example, shift the whole beat grid to the right, then it will work. And just pay attention, this option is selected now, and I'll want to shift the whole beat grid after that position to the right, and you'll see that only the right side will be influenced, and I can do it back. Okay, and if I now want to apply those whole changes to the whole track, then you'll see that now my changes are applied to the whole track. Sometimes you need to expand the grid and the beat intervals, and you have to compress it. Therefore, you can use this button. Expand the beat intervals and shrink the beat intervals. Expand it. And you will see that the BPM over here will change also. And now let's shrink it. Sometimes a song is 80 BPM and Rekordbox recognizes it as a song of 160 beats per minute. That is wrong, but yeah, wrong, but it is easier to have the correct beats, the correct BPM. What we can do now is I'll press the ×2 button, and then if you look over here, then you'll see that this will double. So I'll say double, and you'll see it will double. And when I say half, it will half the BPM. When I made the changes in a track and I have spent a lot of time to make the beat grid the correct way, you don't want to lose that change by, for example, by accident pressing the analyze function. What we can do is lock the beat grid. And I have to press on the lock over here, and you will see that the lock will close. Then the changes you do, you can't change it now anymore, you can't click here. And if you analyze the song, you'll see it is grayed out, but if I do an analyze of different tracks, more than one track, then this track isn't analyzed. So that safeguards that the things you've done are not lost. For more videos about DJing, producing and videos like this Rekordbox tutorial for beginners, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button to get notifications when I upload a new video. Now let's talk tags. And tags are the My Tag function in Rekordbox. When we have the tracks over here, then you'll see on the right side there are a couple of buttons, and when we press the upper button, that is the My Tag button. Then there will be a panel over here, and in that panel you can see that there are a couple of different items you can check. There is a genre, there is a component, and there is a situation. But you can define your own tags. Me personal, when I look at myself, the genre tag I don't find very useful. I use playlists per genre. There are components in here, synth, vocal, beat. You define your own components if you want. Let's say, for example, I want to have a new component, female vocal. Then I can add my own. I have a situation over here, low energy tracks, high energy tracks, you can define that, or in the middle. And what I did is I defined my own tags, and that's where it gets interesting. I made tags that I called dances. You can again make your own tags. I can define my own tags. In my case, I've set tags for samba and cha-cha, kizomba and salsa, and I checked samba and cha-cha. When I go to another song, you will see that those check marks are gone. When I select the song that I had selected before, you'll see that those tags are checked. I can check others if I want to. Smart playlists or intelligent playlists. You can group automatically tracks in a playlist by applying certain filters on those tracks. For example, I want to have only the tracks that are of a lower BPM, so the slow songs. You don't have to manage that. Rekordbox will take care of that for you automatically. Let's do that. Playlist is selected. Now I right click on playlist and I'll say create new intelligent playlist. I can give it a name. I say slow tracks. Now you can supply a field, a database field, which I am selecting now BPM. I say the BPM has to be equal to, in this case, 0, but I say I want to have the condition not equal, greater than, less than, and is in range of. I say, in this case, my BPM has to be lower than 120, and I'll press OK. Now you see that Rekordbox has created a list of slow tracks that are all the tracks, I'll scroll to the right, that have a BPM that is lower than 120. But you can use smart lists also for tags, and then it is interesting. I want to make a smart playlist that is automatically filled with my sambas. And again, I defined my own tags, and I can define my own Roomba. And I'll say playlist, create new intelligent playlist, and I'll say I want to have all the sambas, so I make a playlist with the name samba. I'll select over here my tag, and my tag contains, and when I click over here, you will see that there is a list, and you'll see that are the items I just created, and all the items that are over here, and indeed also the newly created. I'll say samba. Now I say OK. And you will see that I have now a playlist full of sambas. The advantage of smart playlist is that you don't have to maintain those playlists. Rekordbox does that for you. So if you add songs and you check when you analyze the song, when you import them and you check directly, I want to have it as a samba, then those playlists are automatically updated in Rekordbox. And if you export it to your USB and go over to your CDJs, your CDJs will automatically read those lists for you. Related tracks in Rekordbox. Related tracks in Rekordbox can help you with suggestions for playing your next song. You're still the DJ, so you have to do the mixing in your head and know which songs are compatible with each other. But it can help you. Rekordbox can give you a suggestion based on, for example, BPM or key if the song is compatible. When we have our screen over here, you'll see that on the right side that there is a button that says display related tracks. When I press that button, you will see the related tracks over here. But what is a related track? That is for everybody something else. So we can define that by pressing this gear icon over here. Let's press it. Then there is a screen in which you can set those filters. For example, I have now set the BPM filter on the current track that is a deviation of plus or minus 5. And the key has to be based on the current key, or the same key, a related key, or related key 2. The same key is exactly the same key, so A major with A major or 8A with 8A. Related key 1 is 8A with 7A, for example, and related key 2 is broader than that. But you can set some other things over here, some other filters over here. Year, date, edit, matching, history, matching I will go into detail later, same artist, tracks, genre, ratings, comments and tags, and even the file format. I'll leave it at that with this. You will see that list is selected and that is the list over here. Then we have the collection and you can set that collection, where does it have to search? I'll click over here. I'll click over here and you'll see search in the playlist you selected. So only the playlist that you have selected. And then you can define which playlist you want. In this case, I want to search in the whole library. So I'll uncheck this and I'll say OK. Matching songs and related songs are two different things in Rekordbox. Matching songs are the songs that you match manually, and related songs is something that Rekordbox does based on key or BPM, for example. When I go to the 2-player mode, not the 1-player mode, the 2-player mode, then I load in 2 tracks, 1 track in player A and 1 track in player B. Then over here you will see an icon, and that is the link icon. When it's blue, a song is matched, and when it's white, a song is not matched. When you drag in 2 songs and those are not matched together, you can match them by pressing this icon. So I can now record a match between party and friends. Let's take 2 other songs. So I will drag another song in player B. Then Squeezy Beat will be matched with like this when I press this button. When it comes to Rekordbox, you're done now. You can't see a list of your matched songs, for example. There is something there in related songs, but I go not into detail in this video. But you can't see on your CDJ which songs that you have matched in Rekordbox. When you're playing one song, you can select on the other player matching songs. And that is really helpful.
In part 3 of this Getting Started for Beginners Rekordbox tutorial, I'll discuss the settings of your CDJs that you can set in Rekordbox.
If you have a question about Rekordbox, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you already haven't, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and bye!